Hey, you're with Bernie Goldblack, and we're at the Games Festival in Thurles, County Tipperary, Ireland. It's a gathering of higher level institutions of learning, universities and institutes of technology and educational sector of Ireland. Students who have designed icons on a screen that run around like little tanks, little robots, and the competition called RoboCode. And here we are at the final round, the round which will select the top winner of RoboCode 2018 in Ireland. Off we go. First to 7 places Carlo versus Dundalk. Now remember that Carlo bot had serious firepower. He's in the red with a green and yellow top, the camouflage color, gray slush. Dundalk RoboPanda, the top right-hand corner of the protected space at 50 units of power versus 58 by Carlo. Carlo's facing off and is going to quickly knock Dundalk backwards. You cannot face off against Carlo head-to-head without taking serious damage. Carlo beats Dundalk in the first one to 7. That's Dundalk on the bottom, gray, and facing off against Carlo. They go typically head-to-head. This has never worked out well for anybody at the other end of Carlo's turret. So Carlo's at 68. The Dundalk is at 66. This will be interesting now to see. Dundalk is down below 30. 60 for Dundalk. Carlo's at 16. Dundalk, and Dundalk pulls it out. Lever, energy management, and scanning. You need to back away if you sense that you have this, if you take a serious hit up front, and Dundalk's doing that. Your bot's able to back away from Carlo, preserve energy, and win. SentryBot's got some interest in the Dundalk bot. They're head-to-head again, and in this particular case, Dundalk's backing away, which has been really successful before. That pushes Carlo below 30 units of power, but Dundalk's feeling the heat, taking the heat from the SentryBot. And this time the SentryBot helps Carlo win that engagement. See what happens. IG Carlo's 2, Dundalk's 1, first to 7 wins this. Will the same strategy work out? The best strategy for Carlo is to get really close up and tight and fire hard and quickly, doing it 1, 2, 3, 4 times there. 86 units of power on Dundalk, 68 units of power on Carlo, because shooting fast takes it out of you. But in this particular case, Carlo's proven the ability to replenish his energy and extract serious damage out of an opponent. This is going to go down to the wire. You may have to look at the spreadsheet to see who's winning, because it's back and forth, and Carlo shows up as the winner on that hard engagement. That's always been the case in the previous round. Okay, the first one to 7 wins this. Carlo's up to 3 versus 1 with Dundalk. Will Carlo keep Dundalk in the center of the console, and will Carlo prevent the Dundalk bot from backing away? Okay, Dundalk is backing away, which always gives an advantage to Dundalk over Carlo. Carlo uses so much energy to fire and to get a hit on Dundalk, but Dundalk's moved directly into Carlo, which is going to hurt. Carlo has had the ability to quickly kill people who moved into the range, but in this case, Dundalk comes out ahead. It's 3-2 Dundalk, based on energy management and the amount of power Carlo has to spend to try to kill the opponent. Dundalk's in the top right-hand side of your screen, gray. Carlo's red. It's a 3-2 Carlo advantage at this point. First one to 7 wins. Dundalk moves out of the protected space, could get hit now by the SentryBot. SentryBot's found the Dundalk bot and is going to hurt the Dundalk bot. Dundalk bot's scooting out of the range of Sentry, but Carlo's found Dundalk, and so has the Sentry. This gives Carlo 4 to Dundalk's 2. It's the first one to 7 to win. SentryBot's playing a role in these battles recently once you leave the protected space. SentryBot's really close to the protected area, and Carlo's really close to Dundalk. But Dundalk's moved away. SentryBot's got to find Dundalk through the cloaking of what the Carlo bot's offering. This is going to hurt Carlo, because Dundalk's able to keep its power, and Carlo needs to be closer to exact pain. 27, 35 for Dundalk, 9 and 18 back and forth for Carlo. It looks like Dundalk's won that particular engagement, pulling back 1. It's 4-3 in this final round. First to 7 wins. We're putting up the IT Carlo very effective shooting bot against the Dundalk very clever backing away bot. Sentry bot always has a role to play in these kind of engagements. Both are staying inside a protected space. Carlo's moving in closer to Dundalk, but cleverly Dundalk moves out of the range. This is costing Carlo a lot of power. 63 units of power, now 43 units of power for Dundalk, 42 units of power for Carlo. It's even. Dundalk, however, going to have faster power replenishment, which is going to put Carlo at a disadvantage, getting hit twice by incoming rounds. That evens it up. 4-all between Dundalk and Carlo. If Dundalk can play the same game, back away, target intelligently, and fire intelligently, he's going to win this. First to 7 wins. We're tied at 4 each. Dundalk is on the right-hand side of your screen. Carlo's on the left-hand side of your screen. That's IT Carlo in the red, firing really aggressively. But Dundalk is backing away from the rounds it feels until now, where it's waiting for the pain to happen. However, it's costing Carlo a lot of power, below 10 on units of power. It's hard to recover and doesn't. Dundalk goes to the front, 5-4. First to 7 wins this. If Dundalk can back away and pivot like he's doing, that bot's going to win over Carlo. If Carlo can hold Dundalk in the center, Carlo will win. Here's Carlo trying to get Dundalk to move towards him. Dundalk backs away. Dundalk holds position. Now, if Carlo can keep Dundalk there, he's going to win, but instead Dundalk backs away, which is going to cost Carlo more energy. Here goes Carlo at 39 to Dundalk 70. This is not going to end well for Carlo if the numbers keep happening the way they typically do, but it does. and Carlo ties 5-all. It's the first to 7 to win. It's first to 7 to win. The first one that can get the next 2 wins this. Dundalk, left-hand side of your screen, pivoted and stayed in position as Carlo moves closer. Dundalk is Robopanda. Feels Tank Man as Carlo. Carlo's let Dundalk move outside of the protected space. Carlo's letting Dundalk move farther away. This is costing a lot of energy for Carlo to chase Dundalk. Carlo is not going to win based on power and energy management. One more hit by Dundalk and that's it. Dundalk has now moved into the lead. 6-5. First one to 7 wins this. Can Carlos pull one back? It all starts with being able to grab the attention of the opposing bot, hold him there. Carlo's doing this. Face-to-face with Dundalk, who's now moving out of the way. Every move reduces the effectiveness of the Carlo salvo. 66 units of power for Dundalk, 45 units of power for Carlo. If Dundalk keeps moving, if Carlo can keep the position stagnant like that, Carlo has an advantage. Going down to the Carlo has won that one. This is the final engagement of RoboCode 2018. The first to 7 wins. Carlo is facing off against Dundalk. Let's see whether the Sentry Bot plays a role in making the champion of RoboCode 2018. Let's get started. The final engagement of RoboCode 2018. The battle started. Both are in the center protected area. The Sentry Bot on the left-hand side of the screen. If the Dundalk Bot is pushed out to the left-hand side of the screen, the Sentry Bot will probably play a role in this. Both are engaging in the middle. The Dundalk Bot has moved slightly off canter and now is going to force Carlo to chase. This has always resulted in Dundalk winning that round of engagement. Right now, Dundalk's carrying a few units of power above Carlo. But Dundalk's dropped and now increased in power. Dundalk is backed away. Carlo is going to feel the pain. Dundalk wins a successful engagement against Carlo and the RoboCode 2018 Championship Trophy. Congratulations,